Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV, a new edition of our online interview series. We want to get from the first time an introduction on Foran Mining, and I would say that's the next huge copper producer here in Canada. And with us is here Jonathan French, the Vice President, Capital Markets and Corporate Affairs. Hey, welcome, Jonathan. Thanks for taking the time, and hope you're doing good.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's great to have you here because we love copper, of course, as gold, silver, uranium, but copper is something which will really take place for the next 10, 20, 30 years, maybe even, as I think we are moving really into a deficit and we need a lot more with all those renewable energies, with power transmission, e-mobility, etc. So can you please give us shortly an overview on Foran Mining? Just
yes,
the company about.
Yeah, absolutely. Foran Mining, we have our flagship project, the McIlvenna Bay project in Saskatchewan, Canada. We are currently building it. We're under construction and we're looking for first production in the second half of 2025 and the commercial production in the first half of 2026. And while we're doing this, we're also continuing our exploration strategy. And also we have a third prong of the strategy is really trying to deliver a carbon neutral and targeting net zero production on emissions using underground battery electric vehicle fleets, hydro facility power, and really ensuring and building a mine that is sustainable and something effectively a mine of the future.
Okay, super. So you said you are currently in the construction. So how much will the project cost? And I think these days, most important question is, are you in the time plan and are you in the budget?
Yeah. So that's exactly it. I think you nailed it, Jochen, is really looking at making and ensuring that you're on time and on budget. And our project, we have an initial budget of US $604 million. We've recently completed our financing of the project, which included a Canadian $360 million equity financing. We had some of our large shareholders, Fairfax Financial Holdings, come in as well. But also importantly, we had Agnico Eagle come in and announce a 9.9% equity interest as part of that funding package. We've also completed a US $250 million debt facility with Sprott Resource Lending Corp. and really build the foundation to build this mine. So we are currently, like I said, we announced our formal construction decision in July of this year, and it's going to be a quick turnaround time to that first production in the second half of 2025.
Super. So you said you have your equity, you have debt. What are you paying for the debt?
So we are paying SOFR, standard overnight funding rate, plus 6.95%.
That's okay. Not too bad, I would say. Super.
Yeah,
and of
absolutely.
course, it's an underground mine. So from which levels will you start with the mining? How deep can it go?
Yeah. So this is the one of the greatest things about our mine is that it starts 30 meters below surface. And it's extremely shallow. Exactly. So we're already at the 120 meter level. We're already below where we'll start our mining because underground development is so critical to get up and running ahead of first production. So right now, the ore body is 30 meters below surface and it dips down on a 45-degree angle to about 1.3 kilometers deep. It remains open along strike at depth, and we're really kind of looking at opportunities for that initial phase of the mine plan. But an exciting opportunity is the regional exploration we've been doing, and we've actually uncovered a second mineralized opportunity 300 meters away. And it's turning out to be sizable in its extent and opportunity. And so we're looking at phased expansion approaches, potentially doubling the mine plant size and bringing forward more copper and critical mineral production sooner.
Interesting. That would be also one of my next questions. What are the byproducts? And you said also critical minerals. Now, what did you find in addition?
Yeah, so our mine is a polymetallic mine. It's copper, zinc, and then precious metals, gold and silver. And when I talk about critical minerals, I really focus on copper because if you look globally, majority of governments and initiatives are talking about copper as being one of these critical minerals. I think
that's silver. I think it's also new on the list, right?
Exactly. Silver is also on the zinc's also on the list as well. So we really are building a critical mineral mine. And I think historically, when people think of critical minerals, they think of battery metals with the lithiums, the cobalts, the nickels. But people are understanding that to build these batteries, you need to have the infrastructure in place to support it on the grid, as an example. And copper there's no greater conductor than copper outside of silver.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. What is the projected cost side here for the pound of copper? Let's say after byproduct credits, because copper today is like $4.30 a pound, which is beautiful. We are almost scratching the $10,000 a ton. My target for copper is easily more in the, let's say, $15,000 per ton level by the end of this decade. And so I think there's a lot of room, yeah, for having a lot of fun with a mine like yours.
Yes. No, exactly that. So we will be putting out an updated technical report, likely end of this year, early next year, and that will provide updated cost figures for the mine. I think we had a feasibility study out in February 2022, which had byproduct or all-in byproduct cost of close to $1 a pound. But from that perspective, we'll provide an update on there. However, it should be something similar. It's not going to basically it'll have a lot of leverage to the upwards of commodity prices. So
that means
unfortunately, I can't give you a correct number right now, but we'll see an updated number in the next couple months.
Yeah. So you said $1 a pound. That means like the AISC after byproduct credits could be around $1 a pound.
Yeah.
That would be
and
monster margin.
Well, that's exactly it. And depending on your commodity prices, it could look a little bit differently. But yeah, it's something that we see as an opportunity to build this mine. And that's what gives us comfort. When you look at building an asset that has an 18-25, we think over time this could be a 30, 40, 50-year mine life. Having comfortability on having a floor on your commodity prices so you can maximize your upside, but limit your downside is really the focus on ours. And that's what gives us comfort in building this mine to participate and benefit throughout multiple commodity cycles, not just one.
Okay. Wow, super. So what would be the projected copper equivalent annual production in phase 1? And then maybe what will you do in phase 2 when you enlarge it?
Yeah, so we'll be like I said in the technical report, we'll be providing an update on that. I think if you look at the historical technical reports, it was around 75 to 80 million pounds of copper equivalent, and that's running at 4,200 tons a day from our plant. We just recently, with our construction announcement, we announced a 4,900 ton a day operation, so that number will change slightly. And then we're looking in the future and what our regional exploration can do. And if we can bring that, call it 5,000 ton a day throughput up to 10,000 tons a day, we could see a close to potential doubling of production. But we're going through the engineering studies and we're looking at seeing the feasibility of these type of throughput levels. But really what we're trying to emphasize is that we're not building this just for the initial phase. We're building it for future growth and mine life extension.
For the longer term, okay. So I think if I'm correct, that's the approximately the old production of Copper Mountain, which was taken over, I think, by Hudbay. So why have you not been taken over yet? Because that looks like an outstanding project.
Yeah.
or are you well protected?
It's a great question, and I think there's always uncertainties when it comes to developing mines and getting involved during development. I think historically we've seen that larger companies like purchasing assets already in production versus greenfield. But that gives us an amazing opportunity to build this mine and to showcase what we can do and deliver and really go through that re-rating from developer to producer, because that is a true, if you look at some of the historical producers or developers to producers, there's been some significant capital gains throughout that re-rating process. So from our perspective, we're happy to build this mine. We want to build this. Rarely do you get opportunities to take a mine from development or exploration to production. And really, we weren't focused on sitting around and looking for potential opportunities. We had an opportunity here, and it was to build this mine and really focused on maximizing that value per share for existing shareholders. And we felt that the best opportunity for us and for shareholders was to build this asset and go through that re-rating process, because that's how we believe we can maximize Foran's value for our investors.
Okay, super. I think you just brought out some days ago a press release about the construction progress. So what does it look like now? I mean, you said for a second half when you will start definitely with production. Commercial production is on first quarter, probably 2026. I mean, it's 1.5 years from here maximum. That is a super time frame, I would say, for such a fantastic mine and production effort you are doing. So what is the status today? You said already you are in the time plan, in the budget, which is great, but can you give a bit more details? Maybe we see it already probably in the back here in your beautiful photograph.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that this photo is 2 months old, so it's already out of date. And it's exciting to see the work that's being done on site. I think from the plant perspective, we have all the concrete for the most part laid. We have had all the long lead time items on site. So our SAG and ball mills are being constructed currently as we speak. Steel's going to be coming to site, and we'll effectively get the plant fitted and built in the next couple months, and really so we can work inside during the winter months. On the underground side, we're progressing well. We're advancing the decline. We actually took our first development stope or development ore last in September, and things are looking great, exactly where we expected things to be. And we're really just pushing this forward. Like I said earlier, we're still on schedule, we're still on budget, and it's something that we're excited to progress. And it's really critical to have these projects and have the right teams in place. Something that I didn't mention earlier is G Mining Services is helping build our mine. They are one of the best mine builders globally. If you look at their TZ project in Brazil, they've built Lundin Golds in Ecuador, they've built all of these on time, on budget, and we look to continue that. And like I said, it's about the team and about having the right people in place, and we're really excited to provide these regular cadence updates. So we'll be providing monthly photo updates on what's going on site, so you can see exactly what's going on, and then on the quarterly basis, a little bit more quantitative numbers to outline the true progress that's being done. So it's really an exciting time to be involved in Foran.
Okay, super. So let's say we hope that everything goes the right way, for sure, as always. But what would happen, let's say, or are you prepared for any bad surprise? Meaning, you all of a sudden you need more money, or you have a delay. What contingency do you have in the bank?
Yeah, so there's about a $70 million contingency on the project, and really, in mining, let's be honest, stuff goes wrong every single day. But it's really having the plans.
Mining is adventure.
Exactly. And it's about having the plans and being as proactive as possible. So we've been doing 100-day site management team visits, but with G Mining Services, all the executive team, and really how the last 100 days went, what went right, what went wrong, how did we mitigate it, how did we perform? And then we look at the next 100 days. And it's not about hitting home runs when you're building a mine. It's about hitting singles and ensuring that your next step forward, everything's planned and ready to go, and just hitting those key milestones throughout the process. So we have some wiggle room, but our focus is really on ensuring this project on a day-to-day basis is meeting its goals. And that's how you have to be when you're building a mine, is hyper-focused on what's going on today, how are we getting this right, let's go, and then keep refreshing it day after day.
Super. I like it. Perfect. Jonathan, thank you very much. This was a great introduction to your beautiful project. And I would say we speak soon when you have more progress, and bring us some new photos, of course, also. And we wish you well. All the best. Please make it happen, because I think one of the most important things your project has is it is in Canada.
Yes.
And that's what we want. We want to have it in the Western world. We want to get independent of any funny external Asian country or whatever, however I can say that.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be dependent on other Eastern countries, for sure, which are doing strange things these days. And I think this is super important for the North American industry, but also for Europe. And I think your project could be really key supplier for the North American continent.
Absolutely. We could talk for great lengths on that. So happy to do that at another date.
Okay, let's do that. Super. Jonathan, thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, Joachim. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jonathan French, the Vice President, Capital Markets and Corporate Affairs of Foran Mining. And this will be the next large copper producer in Canada, in Saskatchewan. Byproducts are gold, silver, zinc, for example. Fantastic. Those are all the metals we really need. But the copper is super important because we are approaching a really supply deficit here. And this will last also longer. That is for sure. We need much more copper for the transmission of power, for example, and as I said in the beginning, renewable energies and e-mobility. And so we need secure supply from Canada, from the US, from the North American continent. That is really the key. And so I would suggest to have a look at Foran Mining, as we do also. And honestly, I'm really sure after that interview, I will invest into that. So take care. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.